Hello, today we're discussing Parsha Mikeitz. Joseph's imprisonment finally ends when Pharaoh has dreams of 7 cows, 7 fat cows, coming out from the Nile, and they are swallowed by 7 lean cows, and 7 fat ears of grain swallowed by 7 lean ears of grain. And he is, when he sees the first dream, he is very disturbed. He woken up and he goes, has a drink of water, probably popped Prozac or something like that, to calm himself down. And then he went to bed again and he saw the second dream about the ears of grain. In the morning, when he asked his wise people, his magicians, to interpret the dream, nobody could really interpret it very well. So eventually the cupbearer, which used to be in jail with Joseph, remembers about Joseph because it's an opportunity for promotion, and he tells Pharaoh about Joseph. And this is where we are now. So the year is 2229. It's actually the day of Rosh Hashanah, and Joseph is 30 years old, because we remember that Joseph was born in 2199. And the Pharaoh orders Joseph to be released from jail and taken to him immediately to interpret his dreams. Of course, Joseph gets washed and shaved and cut, hairstyle, and gets his Armani suit. He is presented tip-top, and he appears in front of the Pharaoh. And Joseph interprets Pharaoh's dreams as he's saying the following. It means that there will be 7 years of plenty, which will be followed by 7 years of hunger, and advises Pharaoh to store grain during the plentiful years, in order to use it when there will be famine, so that people will not starve. Pharaoh appoints Joseph as the governor of Egypt, basically second in command after him. Joseph takes the position, naturally, very happy. He marries Asnat, the daughter of Potiphar, and they have 2 sons, Menashe and Ephraim. The famine, for 7 years, it was 7 years of plenty, but then famine spreads throughout the region, and the food can be obtained only in Egypt. So 10 of Joseph's brothers come to Egypt to purchase grain. The youngest, Benjamin, stayed at home with Jacob, their father, for safety, to look after the elderly father. Joseph recognizes his brothers immediately, but they do not recognize him. And there are very good reasons to that. We will discuss that in a minute. He accuses them of being spies, insists that they bring Benjamin to prove that they are who they are, who they say they are. And he, just as insurance, he imprisons Shimon as a hostage, so to make sure that the brothers will come back with Benjamin. Later they discover that the money they paid for the provisions has been mysteriously returned back to them. They find it in their pouches. After long discussions between Judah and Jacob, finally Jacob agrees to send Benjamin with the brothers, with Judah, when Judah assumes personal and eternal responsibility for him. And this time Joseph receives them very kindly. He releases Shimon immediately. By the way, Shimon in the meantime didn't quite suffer. He was in a 5-star hotel anyway. And invites them to an eventful dinner in his personal palace. towards the end of the dinner, he orders for a silver goblet, which he presented to the brothers as his magic silver goblet during the dinner, to be put into Benjamin's sack. And when the brothers set out to go home the next morning, they are pursued, searched, and arrested. And when the goblet is discovered, naturally in Benjamin's sack, Joseph offers to set them free and retain only Benjamin as his slave. And this is how the parsha ends. Judah actually steps forward and assumes leadership very nicely, and that will be in the next parsha. And basically he confirms Joseph's opinion that the brothers have changed, they grew, they have changed their ways, and they will take responsibility for Benjamin. But I'm jumping a little bit the gun. So let's look at what is the foundation. What is the foundation of this hatred between the brothers and Joseph? What are the fundamental differences? You see, all of them had prophetic powers. All of them were sons of Yaakov or Israel. All of them were in many respects perfect, despite some weaknesses of personalities. We are not going into that right now. So why they had this enormous animosity towards Joseph? They were shepherds, and their way of life was basically to take care of the flocks in the field. And they were coming down to the hustle and bustle of the cities, only to engage this city life only when they required some supplies, right? So their interaction with the physical world, with the non-Jewish, with the other nations in the marketplace was normally very short and not very consistent and very, very rare. So they basically preferred the lonely life of a shepherd, contemplating in the field somewhere under the tree, watching the lambs and thinking the spiritual thoughts. The brothers wanted to maintain detachment from this world and to engage with the world only when it was necessary, with the physical world. Only when it's necessary. Joseph, on the other hand, was not a shepherd. And this is why actually Yaakov, his father, gave him this multicolored coat, which had very serious powers, the coat itself. But it was like a distinction, because what the brothers were wearing, the shepherd's coats, and this coat, it was like an Armani suit comparing to a pair of jeans and a jumpsuit, you know? So Joseph wanted to go into the physical world and to bring to this physical world Torah knowledge and spiritual elevation. So in order to go into this world and present himself, this is why Yaakov gave him this coat, to be presentable, to show that, yes, we Jews are the people who bring the light of Hashem to other nations. But the whole purpose of Joseph's existence in that respect, and his understanding from his and Yaakov's understanding, which Yaakov liked that in Joseph, right? They were the root of the conflict between Joseph and the brothers. What the sons of Leah were saying, that engaging in the physical world is dangerous. And he was saying, they were saying, the brothers were saying, we will be consumed by the Goyim. We will become like that. And that's why we don't want to be in touch with them. We don't want to do anything to do with them. We want to lead our life of shepherds away from the hustle and bustle of the other nations. Leah Stan's idea was we engage only if we are threatened by them. And if we are threatened by them, we kill them. Joseph was saying that to them, wrong, fellas. We need to bring godliness to Egypt and to lift them out to spirituality. Israel was supporting the idea. Yaakov, Israel, was supporting this idea. And this is why he gave Joseph this multicolored coat, to show the difference of Joseph's idea versus brothers dressed as shepherds. And I'm repeating myself because this is a very important point explained by Midrash. And Joseph was telling his dreams to his brothers as the way Hashem communicates to people. He was saying, it is not my idea that I will be sort of ruling over you. That's God's idea. The binding of the sheaves is about uniting the world. And the dream about the sun, the moon, and the stars is a confirmation of the spiritual world agreeing with him. And this is what the two dreams which Joseph was conveying to his brothers were all about. Now, when his dreams becoming reality, this is all becoming clear. Israel sending Joseph to the brothers is a way of the leader saying to his son, go into life and become an adult. In other words, live your life, follow your dreams, follow your ideas, and I will not interfere because I know that you cannot be wrong and I trust you. And even if you will make mistakes, which he did, for instance, like asking the cupbearer to talk about him in front of Pharaoh to release him, what? He didn't trust Hashem? And that's why he spent extra 2 years in jail, because he made a mistake. So, what Yaakov was telling him, go into life, I know it's full of dangers, but live your life, and I'm sure you will succeed. In conclusion, the summary is, none of us Jews is entitled to say, I am retired. And if tomorrow is not worse than today, it's okay. We are the nation of the priests. And we will sit and rest up there in the spiritual world when we pass away. Our job is to bring the knowledge of Torah and the light of Hashem to this world, to every other nation, to share our love for each other and love for people with other people, to share our confidence in our children as early as possible with our children, to let them go, to let them be free, and sometimes to have the power to be able to say, hey child, you want that expensive suit? Maybe you should save up money and buy it yourself rather than me giving you the money. And that probably will help as well. Thank you very much. Have a nice day, and I will see you in the next parsha.